What'd you do for the black community other than just inflame the race tensions in America? You shamed Dallas police. You inflamed and stirred up racism in this country like nothing before. It wasn't Trump. It was you, Barack Obama. And now you have the audacity to try to shame black brothers to vote for Kamala? Shame on you. I'm glad my black, brown, and white brothers and sisters are seeing right through you.
Folks, what does racism mean? Well, in its purest form, it's lumping a group of people into a certain box and assuming they all exude the same characteristics because of the color of their skin. And we've certainly had our fair share of racism when it comes to the African Americans who are undecided about who they're going to vote for. Trump or formerly Biden, now of course Kamala Harris. And I thought I saw it all when Joe Biden said, "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black." But when states like Georgia passed the Election Integrity Act of 2021, which was in response to events like Fulton County having found double scanned votes, amounting to over 3,000 votes likely being counted twice, an act which includes voter ID requirements for mail-in ballots, the Attorney General called it discriminatory.
The right to vote is still under attack. That is why we are challenging efforts by states and jurisdictions to implement discriminatory, burdensome, and unnecessary restrictions on access to the ballot, including those related to mail-in voting, the use of drop boxes, and voter ID requirements.
Similarly, Kamala Harris had this sentiment about people in rural areas.
Voter ID, one of those compromises that you'd support?
I don't think that we should underestimate what that could mean. Because in some people's mind, that means, well, you're going to have to Xerox or photocopy your ID to send it in to prove you are who you are. Well, there are a whole lot of people, especially people who live in rural communities, who don't, there's no Kinko's, there's no Office Max near them. People have to understand that when we're talking about voter ID laws, be clear about who you have in mind and what would be required of them to prove who they are.
Which has indoctrinated students feeling the same way.
Do you have an opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad. I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely. Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
She just said the quiet part out loud. And you heard one person say they don't have access to the internet, and then she just said they don't know how the process works. Really shows that they're trying to fight racism, eh? Now juxtapose that with when he asked African Americans the same questions.
Now I'm here in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? Carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has ID. Why would they think we don't have ID? That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes.
Because I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so like, we know what we need to carry around.
Everybody that I know have ID. Like, that's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with, ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this, some type of trick candy cameras?
I know, right? That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's that, on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is right now?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Do you have a problem getting there if you have to get there?
No.
I know you sound like a silly question. You know how to get to the DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yes.
You can get there?
Uh-huh.
No problem.
No problem.
Just checking.
Okay.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet, can't figure out how to use the internet.
That's just stupidity, honestly. Everybody has access to the internet. Even a little kid can figure out how to work the internet.
I had access to the internet for years.
You know how to use it properly, right?
Exactly. I do it at work. So, of course, I know how to use it. My kids know how to use it. They all have iPads, iPods, whatever.
Okay, the last two people were seriously, they're honestly a vibe. Like the first guy laughing, like, what the hell am I being asked? Then the second lady, like, taking a pause and then answering and looking at him like, am I really being asked this bull crap?
Your phone has data? You can access the internet with-
Unlimited.
Unlimited data.
I use my phone as a hotspot.
What does that say to you for the people who have this perception of black people?
They're pretty much ignorant now. That's what my thought process was.
I just think that's ignorant. Ignorant.
Ignorant. That's the word
Very,
I'm hearing
very
a lot.
ignorant.
It's ignorant.
Very, very ignorant.
Does it sound racist for somebody to say that?
I think it is a little racist because, you know, you're putting people in a category and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe a little bit of racist in it, but like I said, I think it's more stupidity and ignorance.
Judging somebody, like, what, you judging them because they black, saying that they don't got it?
I mean, exactly. It's ignorance and racism wrapped up in altruism. And I've said this before, that people just want to feel like they are heard, like they are taken seriously at face value, and that they can speak for themselves. So when somebody says that they can speak for themselves, you best just sit down and let them cook. And then they wonder why the African American vote is swinging towards Trump. And it certainly doesn't help that you have Obama talking down to black men.
Speak some truths, if you don't mind. Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences, who's had to work harder and do more, and is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities, from housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine, and making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act. So, and that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard for you as a person. And you're thinking about sitting out, and you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that, because part of it makes me think, I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down. That's not acceptable. That's not, this shouldn't even be a question.
I mean, does he not realize that at the very least this sort of rhetoric is divisive? And does he not have the self-awareness to understand that this kind of condescension will not drive people towards what he wants, which is Kamala Harris, of course. No, if anything, it'll drive people further towards Donald Trump. Now, the funny thing about this is it caused Black American to be trending on X this week. With the top post for that being Nas saying, "Tell the Democrats that black American men don't give a damn what the white Kenyan man has to say. We are not voting for that Indian woman." And the second top post being from Harriet saying, "Indian Jamaican Kamala Harris didn't choose a black American man as her life partner, but black American men are being disrespected for not choosing her. She made her choice and they made theirs. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing." And when you search Barack Obama on X this week, the top post was Black Republican CJ Pearson's pushback.
Yo, so I'm CJ Pearson, one of the young black men that President Obama yesterday tried to lecture into supporting Kamala Harris just because she, quote, looks like me. Now guys, I don't know about y'all, but I think that my ancestors fought far too hard for my right to vote in this country for me to support someone just because they look like me. Especially when that person who looks like me doesn't give a damn about me. Kamala Harris, throughout her entire political career, hasn't done a single thing for black people, black men, or anyone, actually, for that matter. She failed to secure the border. She hasn't created a single job. She is actually probably uniquely terrible at her job. Barack Obama, another person who didn't do a damn thing for black people when he was president, believes that black men should set aside our disagreements, set aside our grievances, and just take one for the team. Barack, we've been taking one for the team when it comes to supporting the Democratic Party for decades. And what do we have to show for it? Our inner cities are destroyed. Violent crime is up. We are living in poverty in too many communities across this country. That is the reality of progressive policies in this country and all across America. So no, Barack, I'm not going to support Kamala Harris because you said that is my duty as a young black man. No, I'm going to support Donald Trump, the president who actually delivered for black people, brought about the lowest black unemployment rate in our nation's history, the president who actually gave a damn about our community. That's not rocket science, Barack. It's common sense.
Next, you have David Harris Jr.'s pushback.
My, have the tides shifted? Are you kidding me? Barack Obama. I didn't vote for you either time. I saw right through you back then, and unfortunately, so many of my black brothers and sisters, my own family, they couldn't see through you. But now they can. You coming out, trying to shame black men into voting for Kamala? Are you freaking kidding me? You sound like a slave master trying to get your slaves back on the plantation. You know, I always appreciated the fact that Obama, as an acronym, could also be mentioned. One big ass mistake, America. You didn't do nothing for the black community when you were in office. You pandered to the LGBTQ community, though. Oh, yeah, you pandered to them. You lit up the White House in rainbow colors and everything. What'd you do for the black community other than just inflame the race tensions in America? Yeah, that's right. You invited Black Lives Matter to the White House. You shamed Dallas police. You inflamed and stirred up racism in this country like nothing before. It wasn't Trump. It was you, Barack Obama. And now you have the audacity to try to shame black brothers to vote for Kamala? She ain't one of us. She's not pro-American. She's pro-illegal immigrant, period. Shame on you. I'm glad my black, brown, and white brothers and sisters are seeing right through you.
Well, would you look at that? African Americans who can think independently and have the guts to call out that smug condescension. And I've said this before, that I can't speak to the African American experience. But what I can say is this. People like that, and demonstrably others, just want to feel like they're human, like you and I. They don't want to feel like they're less than or told that they're less capable of doing X, Y, Z. And I can understand how they would feel that racial tensions have gotten worse rather than better because everything these days seems to be about race. And by telling them that they must feel and behave a certain type of way because of the color of their skin, you're taking away the one thing that they fought so hard for, which is equal rights. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, hopefully I've earned a subscription. Here's some videos for you to watch in the meantime. Until next time, peace out.